All right. Welcome, my friends. Welcome to the Unity of Livonia, a Course in Miracles study group. And we are moving through not just the Course in Miracles, but the entire A Course in Miracles because we've been spending the summer looking at the two supplements to A Course in Miracles, Psychotherapy and the Song of Prayer. So I sent you out kind of a summer schedule, and I kind of keep up with how we're moving through the schedule over the summer. And we're a little bit behind, but that's okay because I allowed a week at the end because you never know what pace we're going to be going at. But the point is, it was planned to complete these two supplements over June, July, and August and be ready to start the course from the beginning the first week of September. So I think we're doing all right as far as that. But again, the material we're covering to me is very, what's the word I'm looking for? I want to say it's deep. Y'all know what I mean, right?
Hmm.
So I applaud you for returning to go through this material together and see what we can gain from it. Let me just ask you this, and then we'll get started. Um, well, maybe I should do it first, guys. Okay. What I'm finding out so far is that there is a reality about psychotherapy that is not very commonly understood. And so, first, it's hard to buy into it. But secondly, for us experienced Course in Miracles students, we're very open to the truth as Jesus and the Course presents it. But for me, I found it startling at the Course's descriptions of what psychotherapy is. I trust Jesus, but I really had to open up to talk about the profession being this instead of what I thought it was. And I wondered how it struck you as we have started to go through it.
It's really no different than the whole course is teaching.
I
So,
understand.
so I guess it doesn't surprise me in that sense.
Okay, I can
Oh,
appreciate that because I agree it's not different. What if this isn't different, then what is the purpose of science? What would the course say about science?
they're catching up to the truth. They're far behind.
Okay, all right. So, what would the course say about all of our pursuits? What would the course say about education?
They're
So, yeah.
they're all worldly, and we're learning the alternative.
And what is that alternative?
Trusting in spirit.
That all of these are spiritual endeavors, that all of these are seeking answers, seeking the truth. And that's the only thing we're about here, no matter what we think the pursuit is. For example, if you get a job, you got a job to go and make some money, right? Well, of course, would say, no, you didn't get a job to make some money. You got a job to have the encounter, the experiences, and the lessons that are part of God's plan. It's a job. That's not spiritual. And the Course would say, whether you know it, whether you understand it, everything is part of a spiritual movement. Your comments, and then we'll get started tonight.
It sounds good to me. It sounds right. It sounds like that's where we really need to be.
Yeah, everything is moving in line with the plan of salvation. Now, that doesn't mean there's not resistance along the way,
Oh,
but resistance is futile. You right?
To me,
I mean,
we're learning everything could be used from the perspective of, from the worldly perspective or from a higher perspective, everything.
yes, yeah.
So there's
So,
nothing that could be left out of the everything.
yeah. So whatever we think we're doing, that's not really it. And
Form, it's the content that we bring to whatever we're doing.
yeah, and whether your mission and your path is in your neighborhood or from a pulpit or from a psychiatrist's office or from a physician's office, we're all part of the plan, and everything we do is part of the spiritual movement. Try explaining that to some of your friends. You may not have friends much longer. All right. As usual, I don't know what made me waft off that way, but
It's all part of the plan. It's all good.
yeah, right.
yeah, so I just kind of try and just open my mouth and see what comes out, and hopefully it's not too offensive to anyone. Any comments or questions from you, my friends, before we get started here? Pick up again. Well, we left off on page 9 in the psychotherapy supplement, and we finished we really finished 3 sections. Well, there was the introduction, a section called The Limits on Psychotherapy, and the place of religion in psychotherapy. And I'm just thumbing through, and the role of the psychotherapist. Now, when I read these titles, something hits me um, about like in the limits on psychotherapy. What I'm reminded of from that was readiness. You will only make the progress that both of you are ready to make. And when one exceeds the readiness of the other, the relationship may end until the readiness increases and another partner shows up for whom you're now ready. The limits on psychotherapy is that it depends on the readiness of the parties engaged. Sound familiar to you at all?
Right.
Okay, and we know what it said about religion, right? It said
Mhm.
formal religion has no place in psychotherapy, but it also has no real place in religion. And that was surprising, was it not? And then we went over to 3, I'm not quite sure. What would you say the role of the psychotherapist is? You got anything you highlighted that'll help you respond to my question? It's section 3, the role of the psychotherapist. Said the therapist is a leader, but he's also a follower,
Mhm.
just like the client or the patient should be. What does that mean? The psychotherapist is a leader, but also a follower. Ring a bell?
Hmm.
Maybe not.
Well, it kind of makes sense. You have to understand your patient, your client, before
Mhm.
you, as a psychotherapist, can respond to it. So it,
But take that further, Hilda. What is the spiritual backdrop for that statement? Does that help if I talk about the spiritual nature of what we're talking about? It says the psychotherapist will lead the patient, but
right,
who should lead the psychotherapist?
spirit does.
That's the spiritual
Right.
reality of a true psychotherapy. And that was surprising too, because does that mean the psychotherapist has to believe in God in
No,
order to be a
Mhm.
psychotherapist?
no,
No.
no.
So, how would that work? How would the therapist uh, become subservient to the spirit unless the psychotherapists were spiritual? See, I don't know. I'm just, Kathleen.
Well, I think they have to. I think they listen for the voice within, as opposed to the teaching that's without. The teaching that they learn is something that backs them up. But I know my therapist will often say, "Wait a minute," and then he goes within and listens for whatever the direction he's being directed to say or speak.
So is he spiritual? Would you
Yeah, I would
say?
say, well, he's listening to a higher voice, and if that's part of being spiritual, then yes.
Yeah.
He's not being directed by his ego. He's being directed by
Yes, ma'am.
his intuition, his spirit, his inner
Okay.
voice.
Okay.
This
And
is how I look at it. The typical statement is when the student is ready, the teacher will come. But
Mhm.
really, it works the other way around. When the teacher is
is
ready,
ready,
the
the
right
students
student
go.
will
Yeah.
come. The right ones for the right teacher.
And
There has been,
Yes.
that's that readiness match.
yeah.
Do you see how it's universal?
Yeah,
Uh,
so somebody that's a counselor, that's not spiritual, are not going to attract students that are looking for for spiritual
All
answers.
right. And so, in comparison to the readiness of the non-spiritual parties to the spiritual parties, they probably will go further and with truer solutions than the other. I mean, there are people that go to psychotherapists and that, okay, they did it and then it was no big deal. And then they even tried it 2 or 3 times and they didn't really feel it helped them.
Mhm.
And maybe that's the difference. But again, it depends on the match, on the readiness of the parties. And if you're not spiritual at all, your readiness is not as great as those who have had that growth, who have awakened to some degree. So anyhow, we're just talking and stuff for a few minutes here. I hope that
Depends,
scores.
it
Yeah,
depends on the student or the client. I would
yeah,
not go, I wouldn't, at this stage of my life, I wouldn't go to a traditional therapist. I wouldn't. Wouldn't interest me.
You
So
said would not. You
would
would not.
not.
Yes.
At this stage of my life, have I in the past? Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I've been pretty I've been to therapists over the years and things like that. But I never got the feeling my therapist was in this zone that we're talking about here. And so maybe that's why I didn't quite feel like I made all that progress from that. But sometimes going to the therapist just kind of calm me down to allow me to work out solutions that I may not have worked out. And so maybe that's just it, to be a sounding board to help their patients calm down and work out their own stuff. But
That's what you're going for. You know, it's kind of like saying you go to a physician and they didn't look at me as a whole person. Well, what are you going for? You went to the physician for medical answers.
yeah,
Can you blame the physician? You know, what are you going for? So today, what I would look for is a spiritual counselor. I wouldn't want anything else.
I understand. Other comments here before we move on? All right, let's get our readers together. We're going to start on page 9, Roman numeral 4, the process of illness. And Sherilyn will be reader 1, and Dee is 2, Ron 3, Kathleen 4, and Joan and Hilda aren't reading. And if we get that far, I'll be reader 5. All right, let's see what Spirit has in store here.
Okay.
Sherilyn?
The process of illness. As all therapy is psychotherapy, so all illness is mental illness. It is a judgment on the Son of God, and judgment is a mental activity. Judgment is a decision made again and again against creation and its creator. It is a decision to perceive the universe as you would have created it. It is a decision that truth can lie and must be lies. What, then, can illness be except an expression of sorrow and of guilt? And who could weep but for his innocence?
Do another, Sherilyn.
Once God's Son is seen as guilty, illness becomes inevitable. It has been asked for and will be received, and all who ask for illness have now condemned themselves to seek for remedies that cannot help, because their faith is in the illness and not in salvation. There can be nothing that a change of mind cannot effect, for all external things are only shadows of a decision already made. Change the decision, and how can its shadow be unchanged? Illness can be but guilt's shadow, grotesque and ugly, since it mimics deformity. If a deformity is seen as real, what could its shadow be deformed? What could its shadow be except deformed?
Well, that all follows. I just don't get it.
Yeah, it does seem.
Once again, it's being said here that illness isn't real, isn't it?
Mhm.
And we've
It's
heard
saying
this. Go
it's
ahead, dear.
saying it's not of the body.
Yeah.
Right, right.
Uh, you still have trouble with that one?
Oh,
All of us. I still get ill.
Yeah.
And
It doesn't make it true that it's of the body just because, it's part of our own belief system. I still get ill, I still use medicine, but it
where,
doesn't
if
make
it's not of the body, where is it?
our
Mind,
consciousness.
the
Yeah,
mind.
Yeah,
mine.
and is it something in your mind recently, or is it manifesting from something in your mind a while back?
Both.
Could be
It's
either.
stemming it's stemming from the past typically
Yeah,
in the present.
this may help. In the first paragraph, as all therapy is psychotherapy, so all illness is mental illness. It is a judgment on the Son of God. What's it? Is that mental illness is a judgment on the Son of God?
I think that's the way it would be
Yeah.
interpreted.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that helps me out some. And what are your other thoughts in paragraph 1 where Jesus is saying that this is illness is a judgment, it's a decision made again and again against creation. And then I'm saying, dang, I just got a headache. Was I judging against creation to get, really? I didn't know it was that big a deal. You know, Reverend Jim, he's just messing with you. What do you think?
Well, you can look at it that way, and it kind of makes sense to me because
Those things
we
are
expect.
creation.
I think we would expect. I mean, anything that is created by God is perfect. So God wouldn't make mistakes. So you have to say, so I am not a mistake. Therefore, what I'm perceiving can't be real because, I'm supposed to be perfect. But
Yeah.
therein lies our question because we start questioning it and saying, this is really real. And am I responding to activities of my body? Like something aches and you say, whoa, this aches. And then you might say, well, wait a minute, make it go away because it's not real. And then maybe it goes away,
Well,
maybe it
how do
doesn't.
you make it go away?
I think going within and asking the headache, what is the block? What is the purpose of the headache? What is the block beat? What is there that is blocking or causing the headache? And it's looking through your perception of what, it goes back to energy and how your energy flows through your body, whether you want to call it spiritual energy or whatever. It's what are you doing in your mind that's coming out in your body that's been blocked?
Do you find that, for example, maybe I've got a stomach ache? First of all, I didn't know that was because I was making a judgment against creation. But as Hilda said, I guess I really am because I'm created perfect. All right. But if I have a stomach ache, sometimes if I have pain, I know less than 190. I'll say that quite a bit. I choose the joy of God instead of pain. A lot
Yep.
of times that helps. I mean, all I remember is I got through it, but I don't remember having the fluency to be able to have that change in mind or to say that mantra and to see a physical symptom actually disappear. I'm not that good yet.
Sometimes if I have a lot of pain, I'll say to myself, I'm walking with my spiritual body, and the pain is just coming along for the ride.
Okay.
And then I walk much. I'm able to walk much with much more ease. It's the same thing as when I listen to frequency tapes. I'm listening with the intent of releasing whatever that block is. And very often it will help. Just an example, I had a toothache So I listened to a frequency tape that was specifically to a toothache. And I
Hmm.
listened to it 3 times a day. And my intention was to release and let go of whatever that blockage was. And then the pain went away.
I got you. I think a lot of the approach is to be able to separate, bring a bit of separation
Yes.
between the body activity and you as the observer. And if you can get into that realm, that in itself tends to mitigate the pain, the physical symptoms. And if you can get in that zone along with affirmations or just a serious effort to look at other options instead of pain being pain, sometimes what is this teaching me or telling me, or what's the lesson here? As I think Kathleen, you alluded to. Uh, I'm working on it. I'm not a spiritual master yet, like the masters or like the Jesuses and that. God's not done with me yet. Uh, but isn't this extraordinary what's being said about the things that people think they can't help, that we're simply subject to illnesses? It's just part of life here. Don't you find this extraordinary stuff?
Well, yeah, it's the same as the pain is part of the illusion. So it's like your perception of the pain, and if your perception of the pain changes, then the pain will
Change
diminish.
accordingly. I
Yeah.
understand.
So it's like what you and this is going to sound really woo-woo, but I was having I um for a while I was going to a massage therapist, and you- there's another name but where the massage therapist the body's something deeper, but I was having our hip pain, and she was working on the hip pain, and we were meditating, and all of a sudden this little girl got up and started walking down a cobblestone road, turned around and looked at me and said, "I'm okay now." And it was a road. It was during World War II in Germany and disappeared, and my pain went away from my hip. So the pain literally was gone. And what it was it was blocked energy in my body. And it's
Yeah.
yeah, and and all and I'm just that's just an example of how when energy doesn't flow through the proper meridians in your body,
Yeah.
it gets blocked and it causes a dis-ease. It got called a disease, but it's not a disease. It's a dis-ease that's in our body. And
Mhm.
we need to look at that pain or look at that illness and see what the dis-ease
What is
is
the
and release the
stoppage?
yeah, because that disease is coming through our filters,
I understand.
our misguided perceptions.
And I think our society in the mainstream simply hasn't paid enough attention to, I guess you call it body, mind, spirit medicine,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and giving authenticity to chakras, to energy centers, to meridians, as much as we do blood vessels and organs and all of those things. Because your idea of illness, talking about blockages in energy flow, don't y'all think that's valid? The rest of
Mhm.
you?
Yes.
I
Well,
think
how come you don't have to go to the doctor and have them check your chakras and stuff? Why
you
don't we have
can.
instruments
And
for that?
they can, of course they do.
When's
Yeah.
Yeah.
the last time you
Not
saw one
doctors
at your
necessarily.
hospital?
It doesn't mean it's at the hot. You know, when you go to the bakery, you get bread. If you go to an auto
All
mechanic,
right. But you're making my point. You have to go someplace that specializes.
Well,
It's
yeah, you have
not the mainstream healthcare.
no. You go to a
neither is this.
holistic
Neither is
practitioner.
this thinking. Neither is this thinking. This whole teaching is not mainstream.
I totally agree with that. But even this subset that we're talking about the approach to illness, which is the purpose of our healthcare system, theoretically. I'm not even talking
Our
about the whole
healthcare system is
spiritual thing.
our healthcare system is mental health. To
That's
me, that's what healthcare is. It's mental health.
But
So
I'm talking about where our healthcare facilities focus.
on
Oh,
whichever one I'm
that's
going to, that's where the focus is.
right,
All right.
right.
They, in my experience, they focus on your heart, your eyes, uh, your uh, red blood cells and white blood cells and all of that. Nobody's ever checked my chakras.
Because you haven't gone to the kind that do. So why aren't you interested in going to the one that's
All
gonna
right.
check that?
You're not getting my point though.
It's mainstream doesn't do this.
It
This isn't
should be
mainstream.
mainstreamed at least as much as the physical importance of health,
Well,
because a lot of the physical stuff could be helped through a theory of blockage of energy. Kathleen, I didn't mean to.
that's
Go
okay.
ahead.
I'm just saying the mainstream medical field is, you know, you're not treating the cause. You're treating the illness
Symptom.
and you're treating it with medication. You're treating with let's fix it and get rid of it. It's not looking at, well, what's the cause so it doesn't come back again. So you would go to a holistic
Yes,
practitioner,
you
you
would
would go
have
to
to
you
seek
would go
out specialization.
right, you would
Yeah,
go to a Reiki master, you could go and get acupuncture, you could
yes.
go and get and that's all part of dealing with the energy and the meridians and and cl-
Yeah.
and and dissolving the blockages.
So now the
So here's
areas
my
exist. Go
question.
ahead, T.
We know about this and we go to mainstream doctors.
Yeah.
So, I mean, why are we surprised that mainstream people go to, I mean, we're not mainstream people here and we go to medical doctors instead of holistic help.
But okay, I go to Maine. Well, when I go, I'm myself, and I talk to them about frequency. I talk to them about going beyond just what they're prescribing, and some of them just kind of poo-poo me, and some of them listen. My cardiac health coach is very much has a holistic approach. My therapist has a holistic approach, and I'm slowly getting my primary care physician to hear what I'm saying. That
Mhm.
it's beyond just looking at the symptom and trying to eradicate the symptom as opposed to looking at the
The
cause.
cause. Yeah, I
This sounds
understand.
to me the same as when we blame others for our problems.
Exactly.
We're trying to change a mainstream doctor to do it differently. It's
yeah,
like we've chosen to go to them. I just don't
right.
understand this whole conversation. I'm sorry. I
Well,
really
We
it's
Okay.
not
choose
it's
the
It's
not about
okay if you
it's
don't
not about
understand.
changing.
I seriously don't think you understand where I'm coming from.
Yeah, I don't.
So we can move on. Kathleen, you had a comment?
I, I don't. It's not about changing them. It's about planting the seed. It's about enlightening them.
Okay. I would just say that for the majority of people, we don't have access to a full range of help. Normally, we'd have to seek it out specially.
That's true.
So if these other modalities could be incorporated into our mainstream healthcare, they probably do a better job if they didn't just see you as a physical and saw your energy
Right.
centers. You know, I used to teach anatomy and physiology. Yes, we're going to move on. And you see an anatomy book, right? And you see where the heart is and the lungs and where the intestines are and all of that. One of these days, you'll open an anatomy book and maybe not only see those things, but see where your energy chakras are. That would be a nice modality, a big help for our physicians if they use those modalities also to bring about treatments. So I know it's not the common thing, but I'm just saying if there was more open-mindedness, maybe there will be soon, these things could help people even more.
I don't even think that's what this is saying. I think this is saying it's mental. So it's our
Well,
thoughts. It's our thoughts. What am I thinking? The body is a manifestation of my thoughts. That's what I'm being
exactly.
asked to look at. My
Do you guys
thoughts.
still get pain? I'm asking all of you. Do you still have pain?
I said that
Sometimes.
from the beginning. I
Yes.
still
Do
take
you still
medicine.
have illness? Do you still get ill?
I
Not very
still
Yes.
often.
do.
Okay, so do I. So I'm just trying to say, I believe this, I'm working toward it. Obviously, I haven't mastered it yet. And
Neither
I'm
have
just
I.
trying to be honest in that way as we proceed, right?
I haven't mastered it either. However,
All right,
for
we
me,
got,
it's the thought that I need to look at. What
yeah.
thought am I
So I'm
entertaining?
trying to work on the thought level of things, but I don't want to come out here and say I never get ill because I
Oh,
do. Was there
and
another comment?
no, and I'm not saying I never get ill, but what I'm saying now, the way I look at my illness, I look at it as a dis-ease
Yes,
in my body. I don't look at it as a disease.
yes. So that's progress, and
And
maybe
I look
that's
at
all
it
we
as a
can do.
disease in my thought system,
Yeah,
to be
Well, yeah,
honest. It's not in
but
the body.
everything is your thought system.
That's
well,
right.
that's what
Everything
we're saying. Yeah,
is created by your misperception,
yeah,
Correct.
which is directed by our
everything.
ego.
Yes, indeed. We better move on. In fact, we probably
Yes.
should have a long time ago. My apologies. D, you're our next reader. We're on
Okay.
paragraph 3.
The descent into hell follows step by step in an inevitable course once the decision that guilt is real has been made.
Mm,
Sickness and death and misery now stalk the earth in unrelenting waves, sometimes together and sometimes in grim succession. Yet all these things, however real they seem, are but illusions. Who could have faith in them once this is realized? And who could not have faith in them until he realizes this? Healing is therapy or correction. And we have said already and will say again,
mhm.
all therapy is psychotherapy. To heal the sick is but to bring this realization to them.
All right. Comments. And remember the opening to paragraph 2. Once God's Son is seen as guilty, illness becomes inevitable. So, with that introduction, what are your thoughts here in 3 about this descent into hell?
It's saying the same thing. This first sentence is saying the same thing. The descent into hell follows step by step in an inevitable course once the decision that guilt, the thought of guilt, is real, has been
Exactly.
made.
Okay.
Exactly.
Have you had a thought of guilt? Yeah, everybody, I'm
Hmm.
asking.
Who
No.
hasn't?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Well,
I
I guess somebody hasn't. Somebody said no.
I think everybody would
Um,
say we've had thoughts of guilt. And yet I did not know that it had such dire consequences until that's what this is presenting. You mean a descent into hell once? What am I feeling guilty about? Just anything? Like I didn't do good enough on a test when
Yeah,
I
if you
was
want
a
to carry
kid?
that around with you, this can be anything you
Could
feel
be
guilty
anything.
about.
All
Could be
right.
anything that you feel guilty about.
How about anything I feel unloving about?
Yeah,
Hey, that
that's
would qualify to me,
the
D.
word.
So these thoughts, the point I guess I'm trying to make is that our thoughts that we don't pay any attention to seem to have serious consequences.
Because
exactly.
it'll keep repeating until I recognize that that is my thought and that I could change it. I could
And,
choose again.
and we didn't know that just having little, would you call them idle thoughts? Everybody has guilt thoughts along the way and part of growing up and stuff, but I haven't heard them put in such serious terms about what we do to ourselves from our thoughts, and that it's once these guilt thoughts are the descent to hell and things like that. Hey, Sue, welcome. Uh, did you get your psychotherapy supplement? Do you have it? Okay. Well, feel free to listen. Is your mic on?
Oh,
Oh, I can hear you. All
yeah.
right. It's just you weren't saying. So, welcome. We are in a lively I guess it's lively. I don't know where it's going. Just listen and chime in when you get ready.
Thank you.
I just did not know my idle thoughts, quote unquote, right? Idle
No,
thoughts
absolutely.
had these consequences for me. And that's the point I'm trying to make is the relative seriousness
Right.
of every thought I'm having.
Yep.
Yes.
I think
Yep.
it's
Mhm.
our repetitive thoughts. It's
Yeah.
just not every little idle thought, but it's those that are recurring and recurring and recurring in my thought
Now,
system.
I would
Uh,
agree with you, although I did not hear him say that here. Kathleen.
well, it's about dealing with how we've been programmed since birth. And it's not just it's in this earth plane, it goes right down to your cells. So when you're trying to change a behavior, when you're trying to release all of that, it's going back and rewiring how your cells react to what is going on. It's not just, oh, it's in my head, I'm going to change my
Yeah,
thought. It's not. It's
yeah.
going in and seeing where in your body this is coming from and working on rewiring it. And you rewire it by looking at the energies and changing the frequency. And that, if you go to any really good trauma lecture, that's what you will hear. It's like my therapist would say, it says to me, "Oh, Kathleen, you've been trained really well." And look at how well you're trained. And it's just going back and undoing the perceptions and everything that we've learned and going back and undoing them and coming back to the oneness, the wholeness.
Gotcha. Every thought I have nudges my wiring.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is connected. It's one cloth. And you can see almost to the nth degree how everything affects. It's like the same thing we talk about. You can throw a stone in a pond and it affects the ocean. And that would seem amazing. It's certainly imperceptible, but it has an effect nonetheless.
Everything.
So our thoughts penetrate throughout our system. Am I right, Kathleen?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Sue, you had a comment too?
Oh, yes, on that very definitely. Our thoughts, our words, how we speak, what we think unconsciously, subconsciously, and consciously affect everything. And I have a saying that I tell clients to your body, the way I see it, your brain is your president, your gut is your vice president, and your rest of your body are the board of directors, and they all answer to God.
Mm,
And what happens, I don't care if it's an idle thought or if it's a thought present all the time, the
yes.
brain hears it, God hears it, and it affects how we live life. That's why we need to know tools in how to work with our brain or with God, no matter what you want to call it, to be able to be positive and work with situations. That doesn't mean you pretend they don't exist, but you reframe it to become a better outcome
Exactly.
and you live it.
And
And
Exactly.
this is with every thought we have. The practice is to where you don't have a single thought that's not in alignment with what you are. And that's a very high bar.
that is.
But
And
last night we were talking about how everything's connected. Last night, remember we did lesson 18. I am not alone in experiencing the effects of my seeing. And 19, I am not alone in experiencing the effects of my thought. So just like every thought you have nudges your
Mhm.
the operation of your individual organism, it also nudges like that rock you throw in the pond. It nudges everything else as well. That's
mm-hmm.
very powerful.
Yeah,
D
you have an effect on the whole wide world and beyond.
seems quite a big responsibility now.
That's the 100th monkey syndrome
I remember you mentioning that,
a
and
long time ago.
there's so many examples of this connectivity.
Mhm.
Um, D, let's continue. We're on paragraph 4.
The word cure has come into disrepute among the more respectable, quote unquote, therapists of the world, and just so, for not one of them can cure, and not one of them understands healing. At worst, they but make the body real in their own minds, and having done so, seek for magic by which to heal the ills with which their minds endow it. How could such a process cure? It is ridiculous from start to finish. Yet having started, it must finish thus. It is as if God were the devil and must be found in evil, How could love be there? How and how could sickness cure? Are not these both one question?
Let's, Ron, well, let's do 5 and then we can talk about it. You see it, Ron?
Yes, I do.
All right.
At best, and the word is perhaps questionable here, the healers of the world may recognize the mind as the source of illness, but their error lies in the belief that it can cure itself.
Mm.
This has some merit in a world where degrees of error is a meaningful concept. Yet must their cures remain temporary or another illness rise instead, for death has not been overcome until the meaningness, the
Meaning.
mean, until the meanness
Meaning.
rise instead, for
Yeah,
death
it
has
says
not.
the meaning of love is understood. Do you see that? Has not been overcome until the meaning of love is understood. You following me, Ron?
Okay, I see that now.
Okay, so you're now at
So I'll
sentence
go back
5.
a little bit.
Okay.
Okay. And who can understand this without the word of God, given by him to the Holy Spirit as his gift to you?
So we read 4 and 5. Help me out, people. Wow.
I
What?
think it's saying that we can't, we're looking, if we're trying to cure, we're looking to cure the effect, not the source,
Okay.
not the cause,
And
which is the
more.
effect is the body.
Now, was that in paragraph 4 where you got that impression, D, or in
Yes,
5?
paragraph 4.
All right. So what I'm hearing you say is we're curing the effects, but not the cause.
We're trying to cure the effect,
All
which
right.
the body is effect, and
Uh,
it's never, it can't be cured unless the
you
cause
go
is,
to the
Yeah.
cause. And then in sentence 5, paragraph 5, sentence 4, Jesus says, yet must their cures remain temporary, or another illness rise instead, for death has not been has not been overcome until the meaning of love is understood. Now that's deep, don't you think? D, you've spoken of that L word in connection with our discussions here recently. What does he mean until the meaning of love is understood? Isn't that a powerful what? The meaning of love. Hmm.
the meaning of love is true love they're talking about, not one with
Yeah,
opposites, not a whole, not special love and special hate. That
that's kind of this whole book, isn't it, D?
sure
The
is. It's
whole
about,
Course in Miracles in that statement. So I just found that very profound. Sue, you look a bit puzzled. Do you
Oh,
see
no.
what we're saying is in paragraph 5 and sentence 4, cures remain temporary or another illness will arrive, for these things have not been overcome until the meaning of love is understood.
well, this they're saying that it's a it's not a cure because we're just healing, we're just going after the
Yeah,
effect, and we've got to get to the thought that
yeah,
manifested as that
I
illness in the
understand.
body.
And I think we lost Kathleen, but that's kind of
She
what.
said she was leaving early.
Oh,
She
that's
said,
right. And
yeah.
then is it Hilda or who's got Joan? You've got to leave soon. All right. Why don't we move on here? Ron, you read 5. Could you also read 6?
Yes.
All right.
Illness of any kind may be defined as the result of a view of the self as weak, vulnerable, evil, and endangered, and thus in need of constant defense. Yet if such were really the self, small s, defense
Mhm.
would be impossible. Therefore, the defenses sought for must be magical. They must overcome all limits perceived in the self, at the same time making a new self-concept in which the old one cannot return. In a word, air is accepted as real and dealt with by illusions. Truth being brought to illusions, reality now becomes a threat and is perceived as evil. Love becomes feared because reality is love. Thus is the circle closed against the inroads of salvation.
Thank you, sir. Comments? Me either. I've been through these before, right? Tonight I'm wondering how I made it through. At any rate, let's give it another shot. We're up to my friend Sue. We're up to my friend Jim because Kathleen and Sue doesn't have it. So we are at paragraph 7. Illness is therefore a mistake and needs correction. And as we have already emphasized, correction cannot be achieved by first establishing the quote unquote rightness of the mistake and then overlooking it. If illness is real, it cannot be overlooked in truth. For to overlook to overlook reality is insanity. Yet that is magic's purpose, to make illusions true through false perception. This cannot heal, for it opposes truth. Perhaps an illusion of health is substituted for a little while, but not for long. Fear cannot long be hidden by illusions, for fear is part of them. It will escape and take another form, being the source of all illusions. Sickness is insanity because all sickness is mental illness, and in it there are no degrees. One of the illusions by which sickness is perceived as real is the belief that illness varies in intensity, that the degree of threat differs according to the form it takes. Herein lies the basis of all errors, for all of them are but attempts to compromise by seeing just a little bit of hell. This is a mockery so alien to God that it must be forever inconceivable. But the insane believe it because they are insane.
Insane.
So the only thing that could be sick is our mind. That's all that needs healing.
You know. And I'm also hearing that it doesn't matter if it's a little sickness or a lot of sickness or a moderate sickness, the cause is the same and the solution is the same.
It's saying there's no hierarchy of illusions.
You know,
Principle number 49.
and
Mhm.
then I don't know, Dee, you've read the Kabbalion, haven't you?
I have not.
Okay, well, we're doing that.
However, I study metapsychiatry and it's based on hermeneutics.
Okay.
Totally
Mhm.
Last
based on
night we got to the first principle. They did a summary discussion of Hermetic Law 1 called mentalism. The all is mental.
that's what
And
this is saying.
that's,
And there's
So,
not an exception to it.
so I'm thinking if we're buying into any of this, and indeed Course in Miracles in general, is we have to pay more attention to our mental state and to our thoughts and things like that, and to recovering from thoughts that are going to harm us. And you say, well, and here's the thing, a little one does as much harm as a big one. So there isn't this hierarchy like, well, this one can't help. It's quite a challenge. Am I understanding this
If
correctly?
we think there's a little illusion and a big illusion, that's where our mistake is. The body is part of the illusion. So there's no hierarchy of illusions. There's no
Yeah.
order of difficulty in miracles. Principle one and 49 is the corollary. There's no hierarchy of illusions. It's either real or unreal. If it's unreal, there's no, what's the difference? You can't be a little pregnant. You're either pregnant or you're
Mhm.
not.
So who's willing to learn this? It seems like, wow.
My whole basis is from, I've shared this here before. I started with something called Silver Mine Method. I went
Oh,
to,
yeah, Jose Silva.
yeah, Jose Silver. I went there as a total non-believer. Total. I went there kicking and screaming because it was
Yeah,
not, I didn't believe in it at all, but my
yes,
sister took me. My sister took it because my son got ill at 8 years old, still is. And she took the course to help her nephew because she knew me, mom, would never in a million years go there. She didn't tell me about it. Money, it cost a lot of money. Money was an issue, in both our families. Um, and when she came back from it, she liked it so much that she told me what she did for me. And she asked me, will I go with her to it? She
yes,
wanted to introduce me to it. How could I tell her no when it was such a loving thing to do?
yes,
What brought me there was her love. So I went kicking and screaming, not believing it. It was like, okay, you want me to come, I'll come. The first thing they did was teach us about the mind body connection. And they gave the example that night that if you are saying that you cannot handle, if your thought, your common knee jerk reaction is, I can't handle it, you will be dropping things because the body, it works like a genie. Your wish is my command. And
yeah,
then the next example they used was, if you're always saying I can't stand it, your feet will be hurting. Well, lo and behold, that was my problem. I had what was diagnosed with neurologists, and I was on medicine because my feet were always hurting and I literally could not stand.
Wow.
I had to sit wherever I
No, I
was.
think I do
I
remember.
had a neuropathy that they described that nerve endings are supposed to shut off when your foot touches the ground, and my nerve endings were not shutting off, so they were always in pain.
Yeah.
They taught us to reprogram, to catch our thought. What are you telling yourself? And lo and behold, my sister is elbowing me in the class. Dee, that's you.
That's
That's
you.
you. And I barked at her, saying, "What's me?" She said, "You're always saying I can't stand it." When used to label them back then as my three boys when they were annoying me, instead of cursing them, which that would have been my style. So I was very proud of myself for not cursing them, getting angry. I would say, "I can't stand it." I didn't even know I
Mhm.
was saying that. And she swore to me that I did. So I decided, you know what? I spent all this money on this workshop. Why not go home and practice what they've taught me? So what they taught us to do was put a big catch yourself when you're saying I can't stand it. Replace it with for example, I can stand it. It was a 3 hour drive home. The entire ride home, I sang every song that was on the radio. I sang to myself, I can stand it, whatever melody was playing. I
Mhm.
just sang that
Mhm.
to myself, and my feet have never hurt since. I
Really?
went off all medicine from it.
Now we
My
call
feet,
that a miracle story,
we
wouldn't
call
we?
that the thought, catch the thought that
Yeah.
you're saying. This wasn't an energy block. I'm sorry, but
Yeah.
to me it wasn't. This was a thought that the body was manifesting. I kept telling the body I can't stand it. Well, guess what? So the body listened to my command, my thoughts. It
So you
manifested that
got
way.
that cure, but beyond that, it changed your life,
It
didn't it?
changed my entire life. That was the
Yeah.
first introduction to mind body connection. I knew nothing about the course. I was science. Give me facts. That was my introduction.
Yeah.
From that, I said, what else is there that I don't know about? That's where I took off from it. It's thoughts. That's what this whole section is. That's what the whole course is telling us. It's
Well,
our thoughts. That's what the forgiveness process is about. Catch your own thought and be willing to let that go and have it replaced with truth.
so even once you're introduced to this and see the miracles in your life, I'll just put it this way. Thank goodness the Holy Spirit's gonna do this for me. Because when you tell me what needs to be done, I'm going in my usual guilt way, human way. Man, I don't know. That sounds impossible for me to make all of those changes and in thinking but then they come back and say, but you have a helper, right? And thank goodness, because without being able to look to this helper, I don't know if I could do this on my own. And Jesus would say, Jim, you're right, but I already thought of that. Here's a helper. I provided the help. When you made the problem, I provided the solution. So while I don't see myself able to do these things and change my illnesses at will and things like that, I am committed to the process of being engaged with this helper.
We're not changing our illness in any form, shape, or way. We're not. We're catching our thought. We're catching it at the level of our mind and replacing that with truth. And whatever unfolds from there, unfolds from there. We're not going to a outcome that we want. We're working on the thought and
Yeah.
replacing it with truth. That's it. It's not hard. It just takes that little willingness. That's step two of the forgiveness process. Catch my thought, my judgments, my repetitive thoughts. Step 2, be willing to hand that over. Be willing to let go. Be willing to say, I've been wrong, and have it replaced with truth. It's not hard. It's that willingness to accept that it's coming from me, not from anyone else, not from out there, not from what my 3 boys were doing that I didn't like. It's coming from my interpretation, the meaning I put on it. I can't stand it when they do this. Really?
I have given everything I see all the meaning it has for me. So I
Uh-huh.
am responsible. Thanks, Dee. I appreciate your discussion
I
here
can't
tonight.
see it any other way. And it doesn't take I have a metapsychiatry spiritual counselor. This is the only approach she takes. The only approach.
Yeah.
So I'm quite used to this. Nothing is happening in the body. Nothing. It's a mental universe. Nothing is originating from the body. The body is a manifestation of our thoughts. Our whole life is a manifestation of our thoughts.
I
And
don't
you
think
can't convince me otherwise.
I don't think I can top that.
I
So
want to
Sherilyn, let's
thank you, Dee.
yeah, go ahead,
I want
Ron.
to thank Dee for the beautiful story of how powerful our minds can be, and that
Mhm.
you can change your body by changing your mind. You're a witness to that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What a beautiful, beautiful story. So thank you.
Yes.
You're welcome. And it was initiated by love. Because it was my sister's loving act. If somebody just asked me to go to it, there would be no way. It was her love that initiated it.
And it was spirit carrying it out through your sister.
Absolutely.
So your
Actually, the very
sister,
first thing they taught us and that in that course was go. It started on a Friday night. It went Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday. They
oh,
said, "Go home. Don't set your alarm clock, and set your mental alarm clock." Now, at that time, there weren't digital clocks, right? There were. We're
yeah,
talking a
Mhm.
long time ago.
yeah,
So they said, don't set your alarm clock and don't have a backup. Like you want to get up 7 a.m., don't set it for 7:10 then, if you in case you didn't wake up at 7. I was jumping for joy. I said, great, I'll sleep through tomorrow. That was my
you got
attitude.
right
I'm
up,
gonna
didn't
do my homework. They told me to do this. And of course I woke right up and I never used an alarm clock
you? Is that
since.
right? Wow.
You set your mental clock.
No. And again, your sister, to put that into this story here, your sister was a leader, but maybe also a follower.
1,000% yes.
You see? So she was doing kind of what Jesus says a psychotherapist does. They lead, but they also follow. I'm
And
looking
we have
at,
a lot of leaders that could tell us because we never see it in ourselves. I swear I was not aware that I said that was like my knee-jerk reaction. I can't stand it. I was not aware of that at all.
that was a miracle
Not
time
at
for you,
all.
huh?
So we help each other by catching our thoughts, because look, or by seeing our reaction in somebody else, we say, where are we doing that in ourselves? Because
Yeah,
we don't see ourselves
Mhm.
immediately.
It's true.
gotcha.
We don't. Mm.
We have about, I don't know, 10 minutes left. Let me offer this. We've got 3 paragraphs left here. We also have some nice music to listen to. How would you like to close this evening? Reading or some music, or what's good for you?
Mhm. Either one, I guess, for me. I do enjoy the music. Um,
Okay. I'm not hearing anything from anyone
I
else.
go along with what everyone wants.
Over the flow.
Going with the flow. They're even down to Rod. Ron wants to. Okay, then I say Sherilyn White. Let's tackle these 3 paragraphs before we close tonight. Let's see
okay,
where
then
our
we're
time is.
Very
We're
good.
starting with paragraph 9, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. A madman will defend his own illusions because in them he sees his own salvation. Thus, he will attack the one who tries to save him from them, believing that he is attacking
Attacking him.
him. Okay. This curious circle of attack defense is one of the most difficult problems with
With
which
which? Uh-huh.
the psychotherapist must deal. In fact, this is his central task, the core of psychotherapy. The therapist is seen as one who is attacking the patient's most cherished possession, his picture of himself. And since this picture has become the patient's security as he perceives it, the therapist cannot but be seen as a real source of danger to be attacked and even killed. The
Okay.
psych, you want me to?
If you like,
Okay.
go right ahead, dear.
The psychotherapist then has a tremendous responsibility. He must meet attack without attack,
Hmm.
and therefore without defense. It is his task to demonstrate that defenses are not necessary and that defenselessness is strength. This must be his teaching if his lesson is to be that sanity is safe. It cannot be too strongly emphasized that the insane believe that sanity is threat. This is the corollary of the original sin, the belief that guilt is real and fully justified. It is therefore the psychotherapist's function to teach that guilt, being unreal, cannot be justified, but neither is it safe, and thus it must remain unwanted as well as unreal.
What's it? Look at sentence 7. It is therefore the psychotherapist's function to teach that guilt being unreal cannot be justified, but neither is it safe. Is he talking about guilt?
Hmm.
Let us not get bogged down then. Do that last paragraph and see where we are. Do you mind? Just finish us out, Sherilyn.
Okay. Salvation's single doctrine is the goal of all therapy. Relieve the mind of the insane burden of guilt it carries so wearily, and healing is accomplished. The body is not cured, it is merely recognized as what it is. Seen rightly, its purpose can be understood. What is the need for sickness then? Given this single shift, all else will follow. There is no need for complicated change. There is no need for long analysis and wearying discussion and pursuits. The truth is simple, being one for all.
And that truth is, my friends,
It's true for all of us. We're
well, what is it
innocent.
that's, go ahead.
Everyone is innocent.
There's no need for long analysis, discussion, and pursuit. The truth is simple, being one for all.
Yeah, I think about all of the axiom, the idioms and things. Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, and all these things will be added to you. I think about one problem, one solution. And for us, I think the learning is involved with understanding that the body has no function other than carrying out your thoughts. If you have suffering thoughts, it will manifest those. If you have guilty thoughts, it will manifest that in a variety of forms. But for me, the key issue is none of these issues are about the body.
Mhm.
That's right.
The body is an illusory vehicle that we've manifested to carry out separation. And to the extent that we have minds that are healed and look on oneness, love one another, etc., uh, all of those illusions, right, Dee?
Mm-hmm.
To the extent we can let the illusions go in our minds, we can see healing manifested through our body and otherwise. Now, can this be done? There are some who would say yes. And so I'm committed to working toward that because I trust this old discourse. I have never encountered anything written at this, it just rings true. As incredible as it sounds, it is an answer. And there's plenty, he gives plenty of consistent evidence for this answer. Excuse me, I got something going here. Closing thoughts from you guys. What is healing? Let's see if that fits.
Correction.
Okay. And it corrects by restoring wholeness,
Correction of our mind.
separation, ideas,
Correction
not
of
a,
the
go
mind.
ahead. Yeah. And so healing is the restoration of wholeness. Then does that mean that illness comes from some sort of split, separation? I'm not good enough. I'm better than. And to the extent we can let those illusions go, we repair or heal or return to the truth of oneness. These are heavy sessions. You gonna make it?
We're still here.
I'll thank the Lord I'm still here too.
This makes a lot more sense than the haphazardness of the world
Yes.
where somebody else can make me feel or, whatever, have an influence. And it just makes sense. We're not the victim of the world we see.
Yeah, this whole course has this incredible alternative way of seeing things that it justifies as well or better than what the world taught us. Because a lot of things in the world, our everyday world, they just don't make sense.
They
For
don't to
sure.
me. And this does.
And I'm growing up, kept trying to say, well, maybe when I get older and wiser, I can understand it. And then Jesus comes in the book and says, you need to stop trying to understand it. Let me tell you why you can never make sense of it. Because it does not make, it's
Yeah.
insane. Here, let me tell you what the truth is. And let me see if this appeals to you. As incredible as it sounds, as a whole, it makes complete sense, doesn't it?
Yes.
And we're not asked to believe it. We're asked to
Just
try
here,
it
let
for
me show you
ourselves,
how
see
to,
what works. How's that working for you? The
yeah,
other way hasn't.
yeah.
I tried to change everyone else and not look at myself,
I
and
love
it
this
didn't work.
stuff. Yeah, I love this stuff. I'm not saying it doesn't go over my head sometimes,
Huh.
Same here.
Goes over
but
my
it,
head.
yeah,
It
it's
goes,
like for me and a lot of people, when I first started A Course in Miracles many years ago,
yeah.
I read that first chapter and the miracle principles and that, and I'm going, I don't get it. And yet there was something that made me keep reading.
Same
And now
here.
it's 20
There's,
years later. So
well,
anyhow,
to
I'm
me, it
gonna,
brings peace. That
but
I have
it
one
brings,
word for it. It brings peace. Unity brings peace. This brings peace. Even if you don't believe in the whole thing, which I don't.
yeah,
But
yeah.
what I believe in has brought me peace. And very fast, when I broke my foot, first thing I asked God was, okay, what was the purpose of all this? What am I to learn? That's what dawned on me. And how now do I turn this into a positive?
Hmm.
And how do I deal with this? And that's what was most in my mind, believe it or not, because when it first happened, I was not in excruciating pain, but I was certainly in pain. I broke my foot and I fractured it in three places. And the more information that I got, the more that things started to fall into place, that I had something that I had to do to bring new understanding and build a group and a committee. And that's what I'm really doing. If I could ever find a group that's really dedicated, not a show place. But the fact is that I haven't been sick since I'm 16 years old.
Really?
And
So,
this isn't being sick. I mean, I'm healthy. It's a broken foot. And I had to find some purpose in this for me. That's my thing.
mhm.
But the fact was, there was a purpose in it, and it was a very positive purpose. Only God should have picked somebody else.
Well, I'll tell you what, when you hit the bottom line when you said peace, it brings me peace.
Peace of
And
mind. We're
Yeah,
talking about the mind. Peace of mind.
and what was it, the opening to chapter 8? It says, knowledge is not the motivation for learning this course. What is?
peace.
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 Mhm.
And doesn't it deliver? I mean, doesn't it just, yeah, it's a place, it brings peace. And when you're at peace, all things are possible. That's when you can actually learn and be open. But while you're constricted around stress and things like that, it's very difficult for a teacher to teach you anything because your mind is preoccupied. Is it less than 8? My mind is preoccupied. Okay. But listen, I'm going on and on. I think we always have an interesting gathering. You don't know how this thing is going to go. And I have come to appreciate that. I hope you have too. I hope you find it a good place, a safe place for some like-minded people to do some sharing and hear the word of God. Final comments, questions, criticism.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, my thanks to everyone. I really appreciate your participation. Hilda's gonna do our prayer protection and we'll be out.
I'm happy to do that.
Thank you.
The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. I am the light of God.
I am the
I
light of
am the
God.
light of God.
I am the love of God.
I am
I
the
am
I
love
the
of
am the
God.
love
love
of
of
God.
God.
I am the
Love of
power
God.
of God.
I am
I
the
am
I
the
am
power
the
of
power
God.
power
of
of
God.
God.
I am the presence of God.
I am
I
the
I
am the
presence.
am the
presence of
presence of
God.
God.
Therefore,
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 wherever I am,
wherever I
wherever
wherever
I
am,
I
am,
am,
God is,
God is,
God
God
is,
is.
and all is well.
and
and
all is
all
well.
All
is
is
well.
well.
There is nothing to fear.
There is
There's
nothing to
nothing to
fear.
fear.
There is only love.
Only love.
There is
There's
only love.
only love.
Namaste.
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 Have a good rest of the week. Thank you for being
Thank you,
my
everyone.
peeps, okay? I'll see you guys
Thanks,
soon.
Jim.
Come out
Yes.
tomorrow
Thank you.
night if you can and join us for music and meditation. Otherwise, much love. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.